Hello everyone, this is Old School from whatthebuck.net, coming to you live from Valrico, Florida, with our quick summary of the game we got coming up this Sunday with the Panthers coming to Tampa to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is obviously a huge rivalry in the NFC South, and a lot of us think it's a huge rivalry in NFL in general. It doesn't get probably the press it deserves simply because we're not two of the major market teams in the NFL as it stands, but when you look at how these teams typically play each other and the kind of football that gets played, it's great football to watch. It's great football for the fans. And this year it's going to be great football for the standings because the Panthers come in with a one-game lead. The Bucs really need to make up a game here by beating the Panthers. It's a tough game, especially considering the fact that the Panthers have pretty much owned us. They own the overall record 9 wins to 6 across the 15 games we've played thus far. Jake Delhomme is 7-1 against us. I think they've taken the last 5. Obviously, we took them last 5 in Tampa Bay. So we took them last year in Carolina, then they came to Tampa Bay. And we had most of our starters resting, but then again, they were playing with about an 8th-string quarterback as well, and they got business done. So when we look at the Panthers and the Buccaneers, I know Big Nick's got a great post already out there from the Carolina perspective, which shows a ton of respect that Carolina has for the Buccaneers, which is obviously much appreciated from the fans' perspective. Obviously, we have a lot of respect for them, too. There's a lot of joking back and forth that goes on about your old receiver versus our old receiver. But at the end of the day, we know that these two squads line up and play a very similar brand of football, which is hard-nosed, blue-collar. We're going to bust you in the mouth, and hopefully whoever ends up getting up and wiping the snot bubbles off first is going to take the victory. When we come into this game, we look at this from a concern perspective, being concerned about a couple of key players. Your running backs are phenomenal, right? Williams and Stewart both lightning in a bottle. They both can hit home runs from anywhere on the field. The offensive line has been blocking well for them, and obviously with the injuries you guys have sustained thus far on the offensive line with 2 tackles and the center all being dinged up, is one of the areas we hope we're going to be able to exploit with our defensive front 7. Jake Delhomme is playing great football. He's got a greater than 90% or 90 QB rating. He is an accurate, strong-arm quarterback who's also quite smart. We can't expect him to make the kind of dumb rookie mistakes that a Matt Ryan made or even that Aaron Rodgers made, even though he's not traditionally a rookie. Doesn't have the experience that Jake has coming in. He's a gunslinger. He's got people to sling the ball to. Steve Smith is always a threat, and Moose has come in, regardless of his age, and put up ridiculously good numbers. That's just on the offensive side of the ball. Now, what's funny is, despite having all of those skill positions and the talent in those skill positions, our offense right now outranks the Carolina offense, which is a complete Twilight Zone moment for a Bucs fan. I know it doesn't mean anything to have it on paper. It really matters about what you do on the field. The defensive side of the ball, however, the table's turned. The Carolina defense actually outranks us considerably in almost every major category. You guys come in with Julius Peppers obviously playing great ball. I'm more concerned in some ways about Make Kimuatu. This guy is a beast. It's like 6'5", 345. We have historically done very poorly against large tackles. We're hoping that Jeff Fain is going to be able to help us with that, even though he's not a big man. He's a smart guy, and he knows how to handle that sort of trench warfare. Linebackers are playing great ball. Your DBs, apparently Harris is knocking people out. We got to be careful about that. So coming to Tampa, you know this is going to be one of those games where hopefully the Bucs are going to try and just show an identity. We haven't been able to show an identity. We've ended up throwing the ball a lot because our running game has stuttered, despite the fact that we got 2 runners who've gained more yards than the running backs in Carolina. The fact of the matter is we can't consistently gain those kinds of that kind of yardage on the ground. So what we're hoping to see from a Bucs fan's perspective is to get an identity in this game and get behind our running backs, Ernest Graham, work done, and try and grind into that defense. Now, I know that sounds like a mistake for most Carolina Panthers fans because you guys have faced some great running backs and shut them down, held them to 100 or fewer yards, right? And that's awesome. What we have to do is take advantage of the right side of our line. Behind Jeremy Trueblood, who had an abysmal game last week, but is a mauler in the run game, and Davin Joseph, who comes back off of an injury. His second game back, hopefully he's at 100%. Those are 2 big hosses on the right-hand side of the ball. And to be honest, I don't think we can do this by just letting Jeff Garcia step back and try and throw to beat you guys. I think we've got to grind it out on the ground and then go to play action, hopefully be able to hit some throws in play action and keep your offense off the field as much as possible. A couple of keys to the game we're looking at. We're going to have to take momentum with pain. This is a game about heart and desire. And we were talking to JJ6 from Carolina Growl. We had a bunch of Carolina Growls come onto the show this week, which was awesome. Thanks, guys, for coming. This is going to be about who wants it more, who's going to be willing to take the pain and move forward and establish that momentum early. And I think that's going to be something that's going to be done with hitting it. It's a violent game. You guys have Harris and some other guys. We've got Jermaine Phillips and T-Jack. These guys are going to have to lay some lumber. We have an injury issue with Barrett Ruud. Hopefully he's going to be able to play through that knee sprain. Otherwise, we've got a huge weakness right there in the middle of our defense, in the middle linebacker spot. We're going to have to establish the line both on the offensive side and the defensive side. Our offensive line is going to have to take care of guys like Julius Peppers and Chemo. and also be aware of the blitzing that you guys may do. Or on the defensive side of the ball, we had a really bad game last week with our front four. We're going to have to get pressure with those guys, or Kiffin's going to have to dial up some blitzes and be willing to take the chance that Jake's going to make us pay for it if our guys can't get home early enough. And then the last one is our corners have got to step up their play. Our corners have been playing pretty poorly recently, and they can't do that against a strong receiving core like the ones you guys have in Carolina. So from a predictive perspective, I'd like to see a big game from Ernest Graham. Hopefully we're going to commit to Ernest and let him get his carries. I'd like to see him with greater than 11 carries, which is what he had last week. I'd like to see us closer to 15 to 17 carries for E. Graham. And I think Derek Brooks is going to have a great game as well. I think most people have forgotten Derek even plays anymore. He's got a couple years on him. He's been playing good ball even through a poor hamstring. I think this is the kind of game where Derek can step up his game, use that intellect he's got, the experiences he's got. He's a student of the game. He puts himself in good positions. I think you're finally going to see him be able to convert some of those good positions to big money plays. I see the Bucs taking a nail biter at home, 20-17. It's going to come down to a field goal. Should be a great game. Should be the kind of game that people like to watch on TV. Hope no injuries. Good luck to everybody, but obviously as a Bucs fan, we want the Bucs to win, and we'll see you guys Monday night talking about it either way, whether we win or lose. 7 o'clock at www.whatthebuck.net. Tune in and let's talk. Thanks.